I now turn the microphone to Ms. Mama Fatima Singhateh, Special Rapporteur on the sexual exploitation and sexual abuse of children, to make an introductory statement. The microphone is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Excellencies, distinguished delegates. It is an honor for me once again as the UN Special Rapporteur on the sale, sexual exploitation, and sexual abuse of children, and in accordance with UN General Assembly Resolution 78/187, present my thematic report on a child-centered response to the sexual exploitation of children in street situations. Your Excellencies, children in street situations are not a uniform group. They differ in age, gender, nationality, ethnicity, disability status, and other identity markers. They are amongst the most marginalized in the world, and they face systemic discrimination and routine exclusion from essential services such as healthcare, education, access to justice. They often experience many forms of violence, including sexual violence and sexual exploitation. Despite their resilience and agency, children in street situations are often rendered invisible within legal, policy, and data systems, and denied access to protection, stigmatized for their survival strategies, and frequently criminalized rather than supported. The primary focus of my report is to evaluate current responses by states and child protection stakeholders on this issue, and outline recommendations for the strengthening and identification and promotion of effective child-centered solutions. To inform the preparation of my report, I sought contributions from a diverse range of stakeholders, and in collaboration with the Consortium for Street Children, I convened a series of regional consultations with civil society actors, academics, experts, children, and young people from all regions across the world. I thank them all for their valuable contribution and collaboration. I am especially grateful to the children and young people I met. Their courage, honesty, willingness to share their story brought depth and clarity to our conversations, and their voices are woven throughout my report. Your Excellency, the Convention on the Rights of the Child is very clear that all children must be protected from abuse and exploitation. Yet many continue to face a wide range of violations, and children in street situations are especially vulnerable due to their lack of shelter, protection, and access to essential services. These children experience heightened exposure to sexual exploitation due to a convergence of structural risks that include poverty, displacement, systemic discrimination, and inadequate social protection. At structural level, the absence of legal identity remains one of the most significant obstacles for these children, because without birth registration or documentation, street-connected children are routinely denied access to schooling, refused treatment in health facilities, and excluded from formal protection systems. The legal invisibility is mirrored in policies and service delivery systems. They are also frequently excluded from national data collection exercises and household-based surveys, rendering them invisible to public planning. As a result, they are not often factored in national strategies addressing health, education, and child protection, reinforcing cycles of neglect and marginalization. What is worse, street-connected children avoid engaging with service providers and law enforcement authorities because of reported experiences rooted in stigma, shame, and mistrust. These feelings are not unfounded, as many children report past experiences of discrimination or abuse by service providers, including being judged or dismissed by teachers, refused health care, or mistreated by police. Fear of retaliation and systemic power imbalances prevent most children from reporting these violations, deepening their isolation and trauma. Your Excellencies, protecting children in street situations from sexual exploitation requires holistic, right-based, and child-centered framework that addresses both the structural causes and the individual vulnerabilities. I have provided an outline in the report on key response strategies grounded in the principles of prevention, protection, accountability, participation, and inclusion. It emphasizes the need to strengthen national child protection system, enhance access to justice and services, and ensure that children's voices shape these policies and programs intended to safeguard them. Most importantly, Excellencies, I emphasize the need for reliable, disaggregated data to ensure that children in street situations are visible within the national protection systems. Data gathering methodologies should be tailored to the unique circumstances of children connected to the streets, taking into account their mobility, informal living arrangements, and potential mistrust of institutions. I have also provided examples of promising practices associated with various measures taken by government and non-governmental actors to protect children in street situations who are victims of or vulnerable to sexual abuse. One standout example from a non-governmental actor is a consortium for street children's street champion model, which empowers children in street situations as right holders through participatory research and advocacy rooted in lived experience. That by centering their voices, it builds on resilience, confidence, and rights awareness, drawing from years of work in Calcutta, Ghana, Kenya, and Sierra Leone to demonstrate its adaptability in diverse contexts. I have inter alia recommended that member states strengthen legal and institutional protections by enforcing laws against sexual exploitation, trafficking, and related offenses, while ensuring access to child-friendly and trauma-informed support services. I also recommended that states should formally recognize children in street situations as a distinct category in national laws and policies with adequate resource allocation, and decriminalize survival behaviors such as loitering and survival sex by repealing laws that stigmatize, exclude, or detain children. My report also offers several recommendations to child protection actors, tech companies, and other private sector stakeholders. In particular, donors are encouraged to provide sustained, flexible, and child-sensitive funding to community-based and civil society organizations working directly with children in street situations. Your Excellencies, Chairperson, I want to conclude by reaffirming the urgent need to recognize children in street situations as among the most marginalized populations globally. Without a deliberate recognition legally and targeted measures to address their unique vulnerabilities, the risk of these children being left behind or entirely excluded from development agendas remains alarmingly high. I thank you, Excellencies.
I thank Ms. Singhateh, the Special Rapporteur on the sexual exploitation and sexual abuse of children, for your kind statement. Colleagues, I will now open the floor for questions.